The Trump administration has terminated temporary protected status, also known as TPS, for Venezuelans in the U.S. Now more than 300,000 Venezuelans have about 60 days before they face the threat of deportation. The Trump administration stepping up its crackdown on immigration, now focusing on Venezuelans living in the U.S. under temporary deportation protections, now eliminating the right to stay of more than 300,000 people. The move coming as a 1-2 punch for Venezuelans who are already reeling from last week's decision to rescind an 18-month extension of temporary protection status, or TPS. That extension introduced in the final days of the outgoing Biden administration. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defending the Trump administration's decision to terminate TPS for thousands of Venezuelans Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press.
Well, the TPP program has been abused, and it doesn't have integrity right now. We are ending that extension of that program, adding some integrity back into it, and this administration's evaluating all of our programs to make sure they truly are something that's to the benefit of the United States, so that they're not to the benefit of criminals.
The decision will affect more than 300,000 Venezuelans who had TPS through April. It gives them just 60 days before becoming vulnerable to deportation. The New York Times reports another group of more than 250,000 protected through September will not be affected for now.
Right now, we need to do something to stop that decision, because for us, it's a reason of living or dying.
The revocations of TPS certain to have profound effects in Florida. It has the largest number of TPS beneficiaries out of any state, more than half of which are from Venezuela.
All people from Venezuela is very, very sad, right? Very be careful, because I don't know what's going on with this situation. A lot of people is in danger right now.
All of this just days after Venezuela agreed to take back migrants deported from the U.S. following a meeting between President Nicolas Maduro and senior Trump administration official Richard Grenell. Friday's meeting also leading to the release of 6 U.S. detainees held in the South American country. As for Sunday's decision, hundreds of thousands now faced with an uncertain future.
We are not numbers, Yeah. We are human beings, working, good jobs, follow the law. Why now they take a decision that is very bad for 600,000 people in the United States?
Trump administration officials have also drafted plans to revoke the legal status of Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans who arrived in the U.S. under a sponsorship process established by the Biden administration.
So there you have it. Trump just terminated TPS for 300,000 Venezuelans. It's funny. He just had a deal with Maduro. And Maduro just freed 6 Americans that he had held in a Venezuelan prison. And those guys got released. And it's funny, just days later after those guys get released, the Trump administration ends the TPS program for over 300,000 Venezuelans. So this is a tough situation, because I know a Venezuelan that says she's not going home. Because there's nothing there for her. Matter of fact, I know some Venezuelans that don't want to even go home because they're struggling. They have a very tough life in that country, and their economy is at its worst right now. So this is going to be another tough situation. I don't know how this is going to be handled, but once they terminate your TPS, that just tells me that he plans on deporting a whole lot, because once the TPS is over, and also the TPS is a 2-year program that Biden created a couple years ago for Venezuelans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Cubans. It's a system where you apply and you can work here for 2 years. And once your 2 years is up, it's up to you if you want to continue to stay, and you can apply to be a resident here, or you go back to your country. So now that Trump has canceled it, these over 300,000 Venezuelans could be deported. So, or maybe the government would come up with something. But now that they spoke with Maduro about him accepting his people, they pretty much are facing deportation up to this point. So we're gonna see. See what happens from now. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Yay, yay.